Naveen, you
Yep.
can go, right? Okay. Go
Yeah.
ahead, Vamshi. Hi, everyone. A very warm welcome to this session of Let Us Talk It webinars. We are here every week, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays from 12 to 1 p.m. EST. And we welcome you all, whoever have joined on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. And we hope that we have this as an interacting session. We gain from each other some knowledge, some empowerment through interaction. So please put in your comments, feedback in the comment section on YouTube or Facebook. And if you are joined in on Zoom, then please do give your feedback or interaction on the comment section. So just to let you know that these professional webinars based on work and life, we do it every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday from 12 to 1 p.m. EST. And if you are a speaker or if you are somewhere related to volunteering for the community, we absolutely would be thrilled to know you, to make you part of this webinars, to be a guest speaker. And we do not stop there. We also do webinars and try to empower our youth also. So we have our youth webinars for two groups, a young group from 7 to 10 years old and from 11 to 18, 20 years old. So those prep sessions happen every Tuesdays and Thursdays at different timings. And the live sessions happens on Fridays and Saturdays after school so that, nobody is affected or everybody can join. So to know about all the details, you can email us at webinar@LetUsTalkIt.com. That is webinar at LetUsTalkIt.com. And for today's webinar, we have the topic digital transformation and the way forward, why digital transformation is needed for the hour and how it has been fast forwarded by the pandemic. And to give this topic, to highlight the points, and he already said that it would be a very interactive session. We have with us Naveen Samala. He is a seasoned IT executive with 17 years of experience in the IT industry. He is a certified Lean Six Sigma Master Black Belt who has driven business digitally, transformation initiatives at ADP, CDK, Global, and GE. He helps business discover process automation opportunities besides eliminating non-value added steps. He is a computer science engineer graduate with MS in software systems from BITS Pilani and PGDBA in IT from Symbiosis. He's a certified Scrum Master and certified W3C mobile web developer. He shares his knowledge and wisdom through LinkedIn and has also recently launched a podcast series, The Guiding Voice, aimed at nurturing students and young professionals to be able to grow in their careers. He's an avid reader, fitness freak, and loves to visit new places. Where can you find a combination so versatile? So, thank you, Naveen, for joining us today. Over to you.
All right. Hey, thank you, Julian and the Let Us Talk It team for giving this wonderful opportunity. And I am very happy to be part of the initiative that you guys are leading in terms of sharing the knowledge across the geographies. And also, I'm totally excited and looking forward for the session. And for those of you who have joined from multiple locations, from based on wherever you are, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, or good late evening, and welcome to this session. And let us keep it as interactive as possible. And in case if you have any questions, please feel free to leverage the chat window. The facilitators are going to interrupt me, and we can take the questions at any time, and we don't have to wait until the end of the session. All right, so let me start sharing my screen, and do let me know if you guys are able to see. Julian. All right. Cool. So before we get started, I want to ask a question. What is the difference between left hand image and the right hand image? Maybe you can answer through chat. Do you have any responses? All right, guys, I think my PPT has crashed. I need to open it again. Sorry about that. All right, so let me know if you guys are able to see my screen now. Here is my question. What is the difference between a guy on the left and a guy on the right? Do you have any responses? All right, so in the interest of time, let me unleash what is the purpose of having those two pictures. The person on the left is trying to be a sprinter, whereas the person on the right is trying to be a marathoner. So if we consider the digital transformation efforts, right? Digital transformation efforts are no longer a marathon. They have become a sprint because it is the need of the hour. In case if your business has to thrive, if it has to exist, and if it has to be in the market, be competitive, then you have to expedite your digital transformation efforts. So that is the purpose of having this slide. All right, so before we get started, I would like to highlight one quote, one of my all-time favorite quotes, which is by Alvin Toffler. And what he said is, the illiterate of the 21st century will not be those who cannot read and write, but those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. The message is very clear here. In case if you have to survive in the market, you have to continuously innovate yourself, and probably digital transformation is one of the ways where the organizations can continuously learn in order to satisfy their customers and achieve customer excellence. And the reason for achieving customer excellence is, in case if you are able to drive, first of all, if you are able to achieve customer excellence, customers will be happy and they're going to get you more and more customers, right? That way you can improve your revenue. And that's why digital transformation is going to play a very, very crucial role. And it is very apt that we have to unlearn certain things before you learn and relearn. So in simple terms, we don't have to stick to the old way of doing things. Just try to embrace the change, embrace the technology, embrace the digital transformation efforts, and you can succeed in your business. All right, so I think we had a very detailed introduction by Julian, so I don't want to bore you with that. Probably I want to highlight one more topic here. Have you guys come across these kind of pictures before? Maybe this is something where someone is trying to purchase tickets standing in a queue in a movie theater. Especially these pictures are from Indian scenario, but definitely even if you consider the West or any other developed country, they would have also come across this probably 50, 60 years ago, or maybe much before that. So the message is very clear here. All these things, say if you were to book your movie tickets, or if you were to buy a movie tickets, or if you were to pay bills, or if you were to seek admission in a college, or if you were to submit any complaint, or if you were to withdraw cash, or if you were to deposit, you don't have to stand in the queue. Everything is digitized, and we have an app for every purpose. So the basics are very, very clear here. And we don't, because time is more precious than money, and time is getting precious than ever before. So digital transformation is helping us save time and save money, and also it is giving us unparalleled customer excellence. All right, so before we move ahead, I wanted to ask you a few questions. Maybe these are things which you may want to ponder about. Have you heard about digital transformation before? How do you define digital transformation? There is one caveat I would say, folks, don't think that if you are trying to build an application or build a software and trying to automate a business process, it is not at all a digital transformation. Digital transformation is much beyond creating software for a particular workflow or for a particular purpose or a particular process, right? And in addition to that, how do you define digital transformation? I have come up with two solid definitions which I'm going to talk, but probably you guys can start thinking about what digital transformation means to you and put it in the chat window so that the facilitators can read out to me and we can collaborate, because I wanted to understand your definition as well. And have you guys heard about this artificial intelligence, machine learning, RPA, chatbots, and then DevOps, all this stuff? So those are all no longer fancy terms, but those are the need of the hour in terms of streamlining the business processes, in terms of enhancing the customer experience, in terms of expediting the process execution so that you can lower the cycle time and you can definitely contribute to the business. Have you consulted a doctor recently? I know these are the pandemic times. It's been more than 10 months because lockdown has been imposed on certain countries and then it was lifted and again reimposed. And if you look at the scenario in India here, right now there is no lockdown as such, but still people are scared in certain cities to consult doctor, and unless and until it is very, very crucial. But now telehealth or the telemedicine, right? It has become a norm, and which was driven by the pandemic. So I would say telehealth could be one of the applications or one of the areas how the digital transformation has impacted the lives of many. And today, this is the new normal, and we are not going to go back to the old normal as such. And more innovations are going to happen because of digital transformation. And we need to really thank pandemic in one way, because businesses are getting better and they're trying to compete with each other, majority of the companies, and they're trying to offer unparalleled customer service. And you can think very deeply about what has changed in the last 10 months, no matter which place, which part of the world you are in, right? So if you consider what has changed in the last 10 months, education has gone online, conferences, which is $1 trillion industry, and especially I'm talking about the corporate conferences, even the big wigs like Apple or Google, right? They have also conducted their conferences online. And recently, I was part of the Thai startup community, so which was called as the Indus Entrepreneurs Summit, which is generally a physical summit which happens in a large convention halls and all, and but everything is virtualized. And today, if you consider my own home, I am working from home. My daughters are studying from home, wherein the schools have also gone online. So likewise, so many things have happened, right? So if you think very deeply about how our lifestyle has changed in the last 10 months, we will be able to understand the nuances of the digital transformation. And I'm not here to say that everything that has happened is part of digital transformation, but there are some roots of digital transformation in some of the things that have happened in the last 10 months. And how long it has been that you visited a bank? Honestly, like since the time I have joined corporate, I can count on my fingers in terms of how many times I've visited a bank, unless and until it is a dire need, because you do have sophisticated applications, especially those are available at your fingertips, wherein you can make transactions just at a click of a button, so on and so forth. And now, if you consider today's world, we are in a contactless or touchless world. And here, the experience is completely different. Today, coincidentally, today I happened to visit a bank, and they're no longer issuing us any slips in order to deposit your cash. Everything is digital. Just that you need to download their app, and provide what denomination notes that you are going to deposit and provide your account number. That's it. And after that, hand over the cash, you're done. And the companies are trying to translate everything into a contactless world, right? And everything has a reason and everything has a support in the form of a digital transformation. All right. So, in case if you guys are from India, you can closely relate to Paytm and all other wallets that are available. Even at a street vendor or the hawkers, right? They are able to accept these wallets. And these days, I would say it is not an exaggeration not to say that even a small time vegetable vendor doesn't have a UPI wallet within India, right? So this is all for good. And if we talk about the world today, right? The world is itself is digital. We do have smartphones, and smartphones have become so affordable. Everybody is able to buy a smartphone, and they're using their smartphone for various different purposes. It initially started with a basic phone wherein somebody can make calls and receive calls and text and do the text SMS or do the messaging part in terms of text messages or something. But now everything is integrated, right from your smart home automation, or if you want to book your cab, or if you want to book a hotel or food delivery services, everything. Even you can control your appliances. And when we talk about these appliances controlling and all, the 5G and the Internet of Things are going to play a very, very vital role, and they are going to contribute to the digital transformation, right? So, any questions so far? Now, let's understand the definition of transformation. So, transformation is nothing but change in form or appearance or nature or character. Here, if you look at the top right-hand corner, you have the caterpillar transforming itself into a butterfly. That doesn't happen just like that. It will undergo a lot of efforts. It will undergo a lot of pain, and then it turns into a beautiful butterfly which can fly. Similarly, businesses, right? They also have to undergo this digital transformation in order to be able to serve their customers efficiently and effectively. Now, coming to the digital transformation definition. So, there are so many different definitions, right? And as I mentioned earlier, merely converting a business process into a software is not a digital transformation. It is more about integrating the digital technology into all areas of business, especially the way you operate, the way you deliver value to the customers. That is very, very, very important. And similarly, it is not just about embracing technologies, it is about driving the cultural change, right, which requires organizations to continually challenge the status quo. Because in case if you are trying to just go by the flow, right, you will reach nowhere. Rather, hey, think differently. If you're using some XYZ tool or XYZ application, why don't you question the status quo? How is it going to work? And can I not do it in 2 3 4 instead of 1 2 3? Or can I not change the sequence, make it like 2 4 3 instead of 2 3 4? That should be our mindset as a digital transformation executive, or as a person who want to embark on this digital transformation. You need to have that particular mindset wherein you have the guts to question the status quo. And the reason I'm mentioning it as guts to question the status quo is very simple, because everybody wants to be part of the change, but they don't want to be changed themselves. So in case if you're trying to drive some transformation within the organization, it is not a simple effort. You need to prepare and build a valid business case and sell it to the leadership, get their buy-in. And you don't have to always start from top down or bottom up. My advice is you have to start from the middle, wherein middle layer management should take the initiative of driving this digital transformation and then take the buy-in from the senior leadership. And at the same time, once they strategize that, then take into consideration the low level or the ground level workforce, make them part of the change, because they are able to give you a lot of beautiful insights, beautiful ideas, because they are the ones who are actually interacting with your customers, and take it forward, right? And I have another favorite definition of digital transformation. It's all about changing the way a business interacts with the customers and how they provide their customers with a consistent experience whenever and wherever they need it. Guys, we do have this Facebook and LinkedIn. What is the purpose for which they were created? But what is the purpose, how they have evolved? Today, right? Some of you are watching from YouTube, some of you are watching from Facebook, some of you are watching probably from LinkedIn Live and all. But the purpose for which they are created is completely different. But in order to give the best possible user experience, and our companies are adopting these techniques, okay, wherein they are trying to put themselves in the customer shoes and trying to be accessible as diverse as possible. For example, WhatsApp. It was initially meant for an alternative to SMS, an alternative to MMS, multimedia messaging service and all, because multimedia, in case if you were to send a multimedia message directly through the carrier, it would cost a bomb. But the idea of creating an app which is able to share some multimedia content and create groups and be connected all the time, right? It is more about so it is more about socializing with others and all. But today we are using applications like Signal or WhatsApp or WeChat and all, wherein businesses are also opening those channels. And in case if you have any queries related to product, or if you have to raise a complaint, simply WhatsApp them and they're going to respond, right? So this is the true digital transformation in my opinion. The reason is very simple. As long as you are able to think from the customer shoes and trying to utilize the tools, utilize the technology, utilize the channels which the customer is already using, and trying to customize them and try to use them and leverage them in order to provide solutions. Any questions so far? All right. So, I've done some research in terms of analyzing the reports published by the Big Fours, and one of the recent reports by KPMG. Like when you need support and contact organization, what was your main way of communicating before, now versus future? Like earlier, before COVID-19, if you look at the top graph, right, visiting their stores or branches used to be 40%, but now future, once the restrictions are lifted, only 26% of them are willing to visit the stores, right? And phone call, again, it has also come down, whereas the website, right, there is an increase from 14% to 16%. Similarly, app, it has almost doubled, and email is also close to doubled. And similarly, if you look at the messenger apps, social media, web chat, video call, SMS chat, everything, right? So that is the trend where the world is going. All right, here comes a quiz question to all of you. And in case if you are able to answer it right, I'm going to give you a chocolate. So who led the digital transformation of your company? Is it your CEO or a chief technology officer or the DTO, which stands for the digital transformation officer, or COVID-19? This has been in vogue during the beginning of the lockdown, especially 2 months into the lockdown, but there is some serious message behind these kind of jokes, right? So in case if you're thinking the answer is A or B or C, then you're not right. But COVID-19 has been the primary driver of digital transformation. When I say primary driver, it's more about the COVID-19 has expedited the digital transformation efforts, because earlier all companies were on the journey of a marathon, but now soon after this COVID has hit, they have started running in a sprint, wherein majority of the organization have expedited the digital transformation initiatives, and they are able to connect closely with their customers and are able to achieve a lot of great things, right? Why do we need digital transformation? Again, a question to ponder about. So it's not just about the monetary benefits. If you put aside the monetary benefits, right, there are so many other things which come into factor. So, but this slide talks majorly about the monetary benefits. If you are able to widely, I'll tell you one simple example, guys. If you consider the leadership coaches or some experts, okay, technology experts or whoever it is, in case if before this pandemic and all, if they were driving some in-person sessions and all, probably they used to make 100,000 rupees a month. But now, since it is open pan India or pan globe, their business has increased like anything. Like wherein instead of making just 100,000, there are few people who are making 500,000, right? So which means the expansion or the growth has happened, right? And similarly, it has also led to new revenue streams, and it will lead to more and more new revenue streams as well. And not only that, it has increased the value of the tools and technologies and the dependence and the way the problems are solved using the technologies. And it has lowered the cost. When I say lowered the cost, like think about some of the industries like telehealth, right? Right? Telehealth, you don't have to commute to a doctor. And in case if you have to wait for a doctor, okay, for a physical appointment and all, maybe it used to cost like say 300 rupees. But now, in case if you are consulting through telemedicine, and that cost has come down, because in the same time, in the same duration of say 8 hours or 6 hours, for which time this doctor is performing or rendering their duty, they are able to serve more patients with ease. And it has also reduced the cycle time, and it has increased the quality. So most importantly, I would say the customer connect. The reason is very simple. You are able to expand your customer base. And if you're able to win your customers' love or customers' loyalty, they're going to bring you more and more customers. As simple as it. Now let us burst certain myths of this digital transformation. So as I've been emphasizing, it is more about IT innovation aligned with the business goals. Now, the line between the IT and the business has blurred. Earlier, information technology used to be treated as a separate function or an enabling function. But nowadays, all the CXOs, when I say CXOs, apart from CIOs, even the CEOs or the CFOs or the CPOs or CHROs, they also have instilled and inculcated this digital mindset, right? Everybody should start thinking as an IT executive. Then only they are going to succeed. And it is not just the technology, but it is cultural shift as well. And it is more about leveraging the technology that is going to add value. And it creates a lot of business models and opportunities. I'll tell you one thing, guys. If you are able to relate to this Airbnb, right? Airbnb is an app wherein you can book some accommodation, irrespective of whether it is a hotel or some sharing room or a paying guest or whatever it is, at the convenience of your fingertip. Similarly, Uberization of your cabs, aggregation of delivery systems, or think about the Swiggies, and think about the Zomatos, the food online food ordering of what was their predecessor model. These kind of models, right? I'll probably talk about hotels. Before these Airbnbs and before the websites have been developed, right? Especially in the Western countries and all, people used to rely on the neon board signs, okay, which were made available in front of the hotel, okay, which highlighted how many, whether there are any vacant rooms available or not. And after that, email has come into picture. And after that, www has come into picture, which is nothing but your World Wide Web. And people started creating websites. So whoever is able to, whichever hotel owner is able to create a website for themselves, they had a wider market reach. And later on, apps have come into picture. And now we are talking about the Airbnbs, OYOs, so on and so forth. So this is all the evolution. But whoever is thinking ahead, thinking forward, then they are going to succeed. And at the same time, technology will be the backbone. Technology will never ever be the front runner. Remember, guys, because you can use any technology as long as you are able to identify a common problem which is universal. And if you are focusing on that, that is the game changer. All right. So, and it is a company-wide initiative. It is not just a function-wide. As I mentioned earlier, it is not just information technology. No, it is about the entire organization, and it is a long-term process requiring a well-planned strategy. Because if you, as many of us have noticed, the number of technologies that have evolved and the number of changes that have happened in the last 10 months, right? They are enormous, and you can expect many more changes in the next 2 to 3 years. And imagine what the world would be after 10 years or 15 years. And we will be more prepared for many more pandemics. You never know what would happen. But Now that the world has come to a standstill and everybody started thinking about the business continuity planning, thinking about disaster recovery, so on and so forth. But honestly, many of the IT organizations, be it the product based or the consulting services, everybody has done a very, very fantastic job. I know majorly the infrastructure teams have been burning the midnight oil, but within 2 to 3 days, the companies which never ever supported work from home model have also transformed themselves into 100% workforce working from home. And till today, some of the giants like Facebook, Twitter, and Google, they are contemplating about making the work from home permanent, right? So that is the impact of the pandemic, and the technology is able to support. And in this race, imagine a world without cloud. In case if cloud was not created by now, do you think we would have been successful in this digital transformation journey? And when cloud was launched initially, people were skeptical, especially the senior executives. How do I go about my data? Is my data safe? Right? So that's why in the next 2 to 3 years, we can expect more emphasis on the cloud security part of it. For those of you who are familiar with this DevOps, which has shrunk the go-to-market strategy, which is able to enable businesses perform more and more deployments in a very, very less time, we are going to come across something called as DevSecOps, which means DevOps combined with security, because security is going to play a very, very vital role. And now talking about the what DT is not. It is not just about adapting technology for the sake of using it. And it is not about the herd mentality wherein some XYZ company is doing and they are my competitor, I have to do. No. As long as it has some value in terms of delivering exceptional value to your customers or the client base, then only go for it. Or else you're going to fail in the digital transformation efforts. And it is not about just using the latest technology or the gadgets. And it is not just about minor adjustment to existing processes. And it is not at all a short-term tactic or a one-time fix. All right. I'll probably take a brief pause, Julian, to see if there are any questions from the audience. I'd like to hear from you. All right. So, yeah. Do you have any questions?
Hey, this is Nagendra.
Hi, Nagendra.
How could we visualize digital transformation in manufacturing sector?
Yeah, in manufacturing sector, you have this a concept called as digital twin. Okay, digital twin is probably, I'll give you a brief example about that. In case if you have heard about General Electric, I worked for General Electric for about 11 years before my current stint and all. But G has been the front runner in terms of digital transformation, and they have created a platform for themselves which is called as Predix, which is more about supporting this Internet of Things and all. And especially in the manufacturing sector and all, they have automated many of the workflows, many of the steps using the robotic process automation. And in addition to that, not the robotic process automation, but robotics. Sorry about that. It is more about the robotics coupled with the Internet of Things, and wherein sensors are used in order to give the exact location of where that particular product is being manufactured and at what stage. Right. So we are going to have the latest status. For example, you have ordered a car or you have booked a car in your showroom. Okay, and you wanted to know what part of the assembly is it now? Has it really gone to the shop floor? And if it has gone to shop floor, is it under fabrication or is it undergoing painting, so on and so forth? So likewise, you can expect the status to be at the fingerprints because of the utilization of robotics, because of the utilization of the sensors and the IoT. Does it answer your question, Nagendra?
Yeah, thank you. But I had another question from your answer. So,
yeah, absolutely.
So this is the process like when you're manufacturing, but when it comes to the quality, how could a quality can happen in digital transformation? Is it possible?
Yeah. Absolutely, it is possible. And if you talk about the development, I'll give you one example from the IT world, and you can relate that to manufacturing. let's assume in the IT world, right? Say 15 years ago or 20 years ago, we were purely relying on the manual testing part of it in order to ensure the quality assurance and all. But nowadays you have very sophisticated tools like Selenium, you have Sonar Cube, so on and so forth, which are integrated with Jenkins, which is a DevOps workflow kind of thing, and you are able to automate majority of the testing. And all you have to do is configure that particular testing the workflow. And once you are done with that, the results are automatically emailed to the DevOps manager, and manager is going to just review the summary, how many test cases have failed, and in case if there are no failures, just he clicks down the button and the jar file or the concerned production deployment will happen just like that, right? So similarly, in my opinion, even in the manufacturing terms, the quality should begin from the very first step of that particular process, and it is going to enhance the faster time to market.
Thank you.
All right. Any and great questions. Thanks for asking those, Nagendra. Any other questions from anyone? All right. So maybe I'll continue, and in case if you guys have any questions, feel free to stop me. And a few other aspects in terms of the employee experience, right? I was talking about the intellectual property and the data security. Those were the major concerns for majority of the employers who were not so keen on having their workforce work from home. But now employee experience has jumped to the front of the queue. The reason is very simple. More than 90% of the workforce is remote, right? And digital technology has gone from nice to have to must have. Because in case if you don't embrace the digital technology, you'll cease to exist, as simple as it, right? And hiring your customers and employees for tech support. And earlier we used to have these FAQs, very lengthy FAQs, which kept on increasing their volumes. But now, even if you visit any website, right, majority of the organizations have employed or deployed the chatbots. And you have services like AWS, okay, which are able to provide easy to configure chatbots, right? And chatbots, nothing but they maintain a knowledge base, and they are going to do a prediction. No, let's stop about stop talking about prediction. Let's talk about answering the current questions, right? It is going to predict the question, and based on that, it is going to find an answer and give it to the user. And chatbots can be made very intuitive as well, and they are going to help reduce the cost for the organization, and wherein in future the tech support may be completely eliminated. But you might have a question, then what will be the future of the tech support? My answer is very simple. Whoever is performing whatever job they are doing, have some intelligence in your work. When I say have some intelligence in your work, get into a work which requires human cognitive abilities, which requires human intelligence, which cannot be replaced by machines, which cannot be automated. Only then our jobs are going to be there. Because whatever the jobs that are existing today may no longer exist in 5 years, and may no longer exist in 10 years. Today I was talking to one of my friends. Earlier, YouTube vlogging was done just for the sake of passion, but now it has become a primary income source. And that has created new roles like digital content editors and podcasting, for example. Podcasting editors are also getting paid. Similarly, social media brand ambassadors, they are getting paid. Social media started with a different purpose, right? Likewise. And similarly, if you talk about the automation boom, automation is not only useful from the cost-effective standpoint, but also from the safety perspectives. And CIOs earlier, right, they were ripped when asked for funding and all, but now CIOs are getting immense support from the CFOs and the CHROs. And similarly, radical house cleaning is happening. When I say radical house cleaning, it's about understanding the legacy of a company. If you take a mid-sized organization, they may have minimum 700 to 1,000 applications, and don't know how many of them are being used. And why don't you think about decommissioning them, which are not in use, do a quick audit. So that kind of things are happening, and that is also because of the digital transformation, right? And audits have found that in some of the major organizations, 5 different tools are used for the same purpose. Why the hell are you guys wasting money? Why don't you think about consolidating? Why don't you embrace a new technology which is going to solve everything, right? And most importantly, perfect is the enemy of good. Don't strive for the perfection, guys. So I strongly believe in the agile manifestos, okay, wherein it talks about working software rather than if you compare that agile model with the waterfall model. In the waterfall model, you have to wait till 6 months or end of 12 months, and then only then you will be able to see the product, and you're not at all sure whether the product is going to meet your expectations. And compare that with agile. In the agile, you're going to work on something which is tangible and which is demonstrable, which is verifiable, and you are going to provide your feedback instantly, right? So these are certain things which have expedited during these COVID times. Now we'll talk again one more report from McKinsey and Company. And if you observe the global adoption acceleration in the last 3 years, like it was just 20%, and December 2019 it was 36, and it has spiked up to 58 globally. Whereas in Asia Pacific, Europe and North America. In North America, the adoption acceleration is far higher compared to Europe and Asia Pacific, right? And look at the impact of the COVID-19, right, on the overall digital transformation, like increasing the remote working and or collaboration, right? And if you, it was expected to be 454, and now the actual is 10.5, and the acceleration factor, right? So it has accelerated 43 times, right? So this is in a nutshell, speaks volumes about how COVID has impacted the digital transformation. So what's in it for us? Now, so far I've been talking about it from the business perspective and being in the business leader's shoes. Now, think about us as an end user, right? We are always connected. When I say connected, many organizations like many companies like Lenovo, HP, right? They are building these always connected PCs, always connected laptops, which means they're connected to network all the time. Similarly, NVIDIA, right? They're building up these GPUs and the graphical units, okay, which are going to support the 5G technology. And similarly, if you talk about Ericsson, because of China's aggressive movement and aggressive, I would say, approach towards digital transformation, they have speeded, or they're cruising at top speed in order to launch 5G. And same is the case with Verizon. They have launched some testing laboratories, and they started releasing this 5G technology in the North America. And Qualcomm has reported in the last quarter that about 60% of the devices, right, which were released in the last quarter, out of them, in the last quarter, out of 100%, 60% of them are 5G compatible. So the next big things that we can expect is 5G is going to release very shortly. And with 5G, what happens? Internet of Things will be possible, which means you can start speaking to your appliances. When I say start speaking to your appliances, not only in terms of giving some advice or giving commands to Alexa, Siri's, or the Google Nest and all, but in addition to that, they will become more intelligent, and they're able to order milk for you. For example, if you consider the smart refrigerator will order milk for you by itself in case if the milk is spoiled or your fridge is running out of milk. Likewise, we can expect so many wonders in the next few years. And since the customer is always connected, and since the internet has become very affordable, especially in India, so businesses must and should embrace the technology in order to deliver the unmatched customer experience. And next one is convenience without commuting. Of course, the Zomatos, Ubers, Airbnbs, everything. And especially in Indian specific scenario, you have some apps like Swiggy GT or Dunzo, which are able to deliver anything, right? And they don't have any restriction as such. If you want to deliver a photo album, or if you want to deliver a parcel to your friend, all you need is just open the app and select the location, select the person name, and you book it. Someone comes and picks it and does it on your behalf. And overall, the digital transformation efforts have been fast forwarded at least to 2 to 3 years due to pandemic. And one of the recent surveys again by EY states like more than 50% of the organizations have already embarked on the digital transformation journey, which they never thought of. And 7% of the overall organizations have already are done with their digital transformation initiatives. When I say digital transformation initiative, they are able to establish some omni-channel presence. They are able to interact with their customers, so on and so forth. And past decade, right, has witnessed major transformation. So especially, I would say some of the concepts which were highlighted in the science fiction movies, right, that have come alive. So I would strongly recommend you to watch certain movies which were released 10 to 15 years ago in Hollywood, and whatever the concepts that were made, that were thought of, imaginary, that have become live. And what are your wishes as a customer? In case if you have a wish, simply you talk to the concerned organization, and I'm sure anything is possible. And in case if you have any thoughts, we can discuss for sure now. I'll take a pause here again, Julian, and in case if you have any questions, I can take.
Yeah, thank you so much, Naveen. This is Srini. So
Yes,
that was a great session, and we are open for any questions from the team. But before that, I just want to remind everybody that we have these sessions going on every week. And then this week we have one more session on optimizing your LinkedIn profile. That is tomorrow at 12 p.m. Eastern time, and then we have another session on a technical topic, Flutter, on Thursday noon. And then other than this, we have 2 youth sessions going on every week. So the youth session for this week, we have one group talking about global personalities, another group talking about the solar system, the younger youth. So the global personalities one is on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 4 p.m. Eastern time. And then they go live on Saturday. And then the younger group, the solar system one, that is on same days, Tuesdays and Thursdays, but at 8:45 p.m. Eastern time. And they go live on Friday at 8:45 p.m. Eastern time. So these are like 2 parallel youth groups. And we thank so much, for all the youth mentors and the audience to really help in this vision of the LetUsTalkIt. To create an informed and inspired and empowered community. And also we have yoga sessions every week on Wednesdays and Sundays. Yeah. So now, any other questions by anybody? So I'll open. You can unmute yourself and speak.
Yeah, before we take questions, probably I want to cover one more slide. Like in case if you want to visualize the future of digital transformation, maybe we can think of NLP, the natural language processing, or the neural linguistic processing. There are so many different abbreviations or the expansions, but it's more about understanding the way we speak, right? If you consider how Siri has evolved, or how Google Assistant has evolved, or how Alexa has evolved. Earlier, we used to give a specific command and you have to follow a certain accent, but now it is more of a natural interaction. It is as if you're talking to your buddy. And these voice assistants are again converting themselves to be compatible with the vernacular languages as well. So we can see a lot of transformation happening in that space. And nevertheless, AI and ML are already making a lot of strides, and we will see a lot of initiatives which are going to contribute to the benefit of the clients using the AI and ML, so that you don't have to even think about ordering certain things, and everything will be ordered on your behalf based on how you configure your e-commerce portals or the settings, and based on the behavioral pattern of your spending and the kind of purchases that you make. Everything can be auto configured. And touchless experience, probably you can think of iris based payments, okay, that are going to happen. And earlier people were thinking about fingerprint based, but now that the world is moving towards this touchless because of the pandemic, and also similarly we can expect some iris based payments. Okay, everybody has a different iris, right? And it is already part of our biometrics. So you can expect that kind of thing. And overall, it's going to be a seamless, frictionless experience. All we have to do is imagine, and companies will make it happen. So I have a recommendation in case if you guys haven't tuned into this Upload web series on Amazon Prime. So definitely, I strongly recommend you to watch that series, and it is all about experiencing 2030 and beyond, and majority of the concepts related to the pervasive computing world and all the digital transformation and the connected cars, autonomous vehicles, drones, all those how they will become handy is being portrayed very well in the web series. All right, so a closing note: the technology is going to shift the way consumer expect to be served because always customer is the king, right? And disruptions may or may not benefit the markets and the companies, but always they benefit the customers. So if you are an organization, you have to focus on your customers, and if you are a customer yourself, then try to share your ideas with the uh, vendors who are providing you the services. That would be my part. And how to plan the successful digital transformation, like you need to have uh, an integrated strategy, and it need not necessarily be driven top down. Rather, I would say middle management should take the onus and then convince or probably build a strategy in tandem or in partnership with the senior management, and then take into account the ideas of all the ground workforce, and that way they are able to give their best. And it should be an end-to-end commitment, and you need to align right people to the right roles and have strong measurements or metrics or the KPIs to measure the success, and have the governance model in place just to track the progress, and at the same time leverage certain technical stack in terms of Python or the JS. JavaScript has again evolved drastically in the last few years, and you have so many different variants of JavaScript like Angular, React, which are supporting the faster deployments and very I would say spiffy user interfaces and all. So these are going to enable us. All right. So with that, I would like to conclude my pitch. And before I close, I just wanted to talk briefly about the podcast series that I was talking about. Uh, this this is more about following the passion, and me and one of my ex-colleagues, Sudhakar, have started this Guiding Voice podcast series, which is available on almost all the podcast streaming platforms like Google or Apple, iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, you name it, we are there, and also on YouTube. And it is more about providing some guidance to the professional students, IT employees, and the entrepreneurs so that they make informed decisions. Because during every episode, we interact with industry experts or leadership coaches or academicians and drive some insightful conversations which are going to help our audience learn great things. So it is in line with what Let Us Talk It team is doing here. Of course, their scope is much broader, and they are doing many more things compared to us, but we started taking some baby steps. However, we have launched about 58 episodes already, and these are certain links where you can follow us. And in case if you wish to be a guest speaker, also we'll be happy to feature you. And if you want to contact, here are the coordinates: the guiding voice for you at gmail.com, or you can SMS or WhatsApp us on this number. This is India number. And finally, in case if you have any questions related to any technology or anything related to IT, just voice record your message and WhatsApp us, and we'll play the question along with answer in the future episode. So with that, I'll take a pause, and I'm open for any question related to digital transformation or anything related to process optimization or anything related to business process innovation.
Yeah, that's very nice to hear about the guiding voice. It's interesting.
Thank you, Srini.
Big time into collaboration and
Yeah,
growing together.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so it's been just 7 months, but because of tremendous support from various technology leaders and CXOs across the globe, we are able to launch 58 episodes in just 7 months. So we normally release 2 episodes a week. Initially, we thought of doing only 1 episode per week on Thursdays, but because of immense support and the collaboration opportunities that the world is giving, like we are able to outpace ourselves.
Oh, nice. Very nice to hear that. Yeah. Open for any questions if anybody has. You can feel free to unmute yourself. So otherwise, I have a general question about any specific customers that have, where you have implemented the, digital transformation, and any kind of, more kind of a case study oriented information that you can share, Naveen?
Yeah, see, right now I cannot talk about my org-wide initiatives as such, but I can give you some hypothetical situations. Say, for example, if you're a bank customer, each one of us does a lot of transactions, right? And in case if you wanted to enable payments, right? Nowadays you have WhatsApp, which was used as a messenger just for communication. WhatsApp has also started enabling these UPI-based payments. So it is all about leveraging a particular channel, okay, which is being used by the customers for a different purpose, but you are following the customer's path in order to serve them, telling that, hey guys, you don't have to learn a new tool, or you don't have to log into a new application as such. We are there where you are, as simple as it, right? Similarly, think about any probably you ask me question related to a specific domain, and I can give you a use case in terms of how can we drive the digital transformation efforts in that particular scenario.
Yeah, got it. I think, yeah, we have one more question probably from Nitesh. You can unmute yourself.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
It's
Hey,
been
Nitesh.
a very, very long time listening to you for continuously 45 minutes. So this digital transformation where companies are dealing with thousands and thousands of customers.
Yeah.
I want to know, I feel that there is a personal touch that they are losing from the customer. And what's your views and how these people can have that face-to-face communication, that connection that they have? Because I feel that a guy is connected to me in 4 different platforms, and I feel confused to connect with him in a single platform.
Yeah. I have 2 answers to it. First one, in case if you talk about 4 different platforms, my suggestion would be very simple. Like, irrespective of your customer or your client is talking to you through WhatsApp or email or any other chatbot or anything, there should be one portal which has the summary of all the conversation that has happened. Because normally, if you happen to talk to any of your phone banking officers or any of your telecom service operators, right? If at all your call gets disconnected in between, you end up repeating that entire exercise of telling your problem, articulating what has been bothering you, and so on and so forth. That is very frustrating. Customer is already frustrated with the kind of service, and now that is adding more to the frustration, right? So you need to have one-stop repository which has the end-to-end conversation right from the first interaction till the current interaction, so that the person whoever is trying to connect and solace the customer, they have to review the notes and talk to them with empathy, right? And with regard to your first part of the question, with regard to losing the human touch and all, my logic is very simple. It's more about, again, you can leverage this sentiment analysis, and you can leverage this data analytics, you can leverage this artificial intelligence. Because I'll tell you one analogy. Like, most of you are aware of this Grammarly tool, right? Grammarly is mostly into correcting your grammatical errors, punctuation, and it also has additional feature which talks about the tone of the message. Are you angry, or I mean, it will think from the receiver's perspective with what would be their reaction. Are they going to be neutral, or are they going to be excited, or are they going to be frustrated? Likewise, we need to develop certain algorithms, okay, which are going to capture the sentiment of the customer by analyzing the responses. And in case if the customer is really frustrated, then you don't have to provide automated solution. Then you have to really bring in your expert, okay, probably expert panelists or the expert technical support executive, and have them deal with that situation, or else it is going to frustrate the customer further. I'm able to answer that, Nitish?
Yes, sir, truly, sir. I got it.
All right. Srini, Julan, any other questions from anyone?
No, I think that was a great interaction and nice to know more about what you're doing. Pretty exciting. So we'll stay in touch, and if you can stay back after this live is over, I can chat with you for 5 more minutes.
Sure.
Yeah. So again, thank you all, wonderful audience. We'll talk to you again at the same Zoom link today at 4 p.m. and 8:45 p.m. Eastern times on the youth webinars, and tomorrow at 12 noon Eastern time on the next topic on the LinkedIn in this Let Us Talk It series. Thank you all. Have a good one.
Thank you, guys, and thanks Let Us Talk IT team for the opportunity.
Thank you, Naveen. Thank you, Srini.
Hey, thank you, Nagendra.